Hi, and thank you for listening. This is Sherry Andrea, and if you're looking for me, you can find me at sherryspeaks.com. Don't forget to like the video, that helps me. And also, what helps me even more, please remember to subscribe. Um, that would really help me. Um, I haven't made a video in a while, so that's why I wanted to make sure that, I made a few for you here and there. It's been June and July has been really, like, really weird. First of all, I mean, I've had some health issues, which has had me not feeling well enough to do many things, but I'm hanging in there. It's nothing major, gallbladder issues, and anybody that suffers gallbladder issues, that can be like, when you're suffering gallbladder attack, it's like awful, so awful. So I'm trying to learn what to eat, not drink, what to stay away from. It's still a learning process, so that's what I've kind of been doing, or what has had me a little bit sidetracked. Yes, for those of you that are waiting on a energy clearing or a Merkaba activation, yes, I got a little bit behind. I'm doing a whole bunch more today, because I finally feel well enough to do more than I've been doing every day. So I haven't forgot you. For those of you, I do get emails sometimes from those of you saying, hey, I want to make sure, you're still offering the attunements, and that I'm actually going to get it because I ordered it and I didn't get anything. Okay, if you're one of those people that are like, oh, I ordered attunement from your website, I didn't get anything, it's possible that you either didn't see the confirmation email, maybe it went into your spam folder, or you read it but didn't understand what it was telling you. Okay, so once again, my attunements are set up on course form. What that means is that once you order it, you need to log back in, and you can go to student profile, which is easy. It's just go to sherryspeaks.com/student-profile. If you're not already logged in, it's going to ask you to log in. And once you're logged in, you just click on attunements, click on the attunement you ordered. It's a one-pager that attunes you, and it has an image on it that is imbued with the attunement, similar to what you're used to with the chi ball method, except in this case it's a little bit easier because all you have to do is basically stare at the image, basically meditate on the image, not for very long. I mean, some people do it for a long time. I'm talking about for just a minute or two, maybe. Just stare at the image and you will be attuned. It's that simple. So for those of you who ordered attunement and either you can't figure it out, you don't know what to do, of course, feel free to email me, and I'll walk you through it and I'll help you. And if you can't get logged in, I'll help you do that too. So anyway, let's get to what we're talking about. And by the way, if you'd like to donate a little something, even if it's $1 or $5, you can go to sherryspeaks.com/donate. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about, like, getting started. Like, where do you start? For most people, I think that the whole, where do I start? What do I do? What am I supposed to do? It generally, a lot of people are going through some sort of awakening or some sort of a realization that, hey, I've always had really good intuition. I've had, things that have happened, experiences, unexplainable experiences, and maybe they get to the point where they're like, well, I think finally I want to know what's really going on with me, really, what do I have going on? And so I think that's how they get started, because or they can recall having really good abilities when they were young, when they were a child, and they start thinking about it and they're like, I had really good abilities when I was a child, what happened with that? And they decide to delve back into it. Of course, for those who are going through some sort of an awakening, um, maybe for them it's a little bit easier, because it's not just them deciding, I want this, I want to work on metaphysics, I want to work on spirituality. It's something that is naturally happening in their life because it's time, because it's time. And sometimes for people it is time, and it is like the third time. Sometimes people are like, can recall, remembering getting that nudge to wake up and to get going, maybe 30 years ago. And they ignored it. They're like, oh, I had a lot going on. I was working on this. I was working on that. I was doing this and that. And they ignored it. They pushed it aside. And then it came up maybe another 10 years later. It came up. They got that nudge again. And yet they ignored it again because they had a lot going on in their lives. And then maybe by the third time, I've heard people say, it came up again. And something said, let's not ignore it this time. Let's not push it aside this time. So that happens as well. How everybody gets to that point where they are working on metaphysics or spirituality, it's different for everyone. No two stories are the same, or the timing. Some people start when they're younger, some people start when they're older. For everybody, it's very unique. This isn't something cookie cutter where you can go to the bookstore, get a book, and you read that book and it's going to be the same for everyone. No, it's not going to be the same for everyone. Your journey, your experience, and how you go about it's going to be very unique to you. This often also makes it difficult for people, though, because as they're trying to figure things out, it can make it difficult because it's not cookie cutter, because it's not, okay, it's set in stone, it works this way, and this is how it happens, and this is what you have to do. Sometimes that's great, but sometimes it just makes it harder for you. Or it feels, that's the way you perceive it, like it's harder for you. But sometimes it's just about what you want in your life or what you're ready for. And if metaphysics, spirituality, like if those are, or energy work, Reiki, if that's something you have decided that you are ready for it, that you have decided you want, that's fine too. But as far as the question, where do you start? Yeah, that's always a good question. And I always say, okay, well, the starting point can be simple. I always say, okay, start by meditating, maybe 15, 20 minutes a day. Passive meditation, meaning meditating on nothing, just trying to quiet your mind, trying to stop all thoughts. Just passive meditation. And then use a guided chakra meditation video. It doesn't have to be a long one. I recommend that it be, for right now in the beginning, a short one, like maybe one that takes no more than 10 to 15 minutes. But you're going to be able to work your chakras every day. In the beginning, you don't want to overdo it, of course. How can I explain this? Overdoing it would be like, let's say I have a car it's just a regular car. Maybe it's a 4-cylinder car. It's just your average car. It does well getting me to and from wherever. But I go from one day just, having an ordinary car and doing ordinary driving to, I'm going to race other cars. But look, I'm not doing anything to the car. I'm not upgrading the car. I'm just making the decision. I'm going to race cars now. Okay, the reason why I say don't overdo it when it comes to chakra work is because that's basically what you would be doing. You would be trying to go from basically having something that has a basic ability to saying, that would be like I'm going from being a viewer, a person that goes to the circus and sitting in the audience and I'm watching the circus, and look, I love it so much. I get so excited that the next day I'm putting my little cute outfit on and I'm going out and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to do the high wire thing. That looks really cool. So I'm going to start doing that. Are you really? Shouldn't there be any training? Shouldn't there be some, you're going to get up to that level? Maybe they're not going to have you on the high wire. Maybe they're going to have you, doing it on the ground first, because you have to get good at balance. So they're having you do it on the ground where you won't hurt yourself, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Don't try to do too much. A lot of times people fall into that trap where they're just like, and a lot of times for a reason, like they maybe had a loved one, recently pass away that they really miss, and they're like, oh, I want to talk to them. I want to be able to talk to them. Okay, I would say, yeah, maybe that's a good reason, and it's a reason I understand. But really, is it realistic to think that you can go from watching the circus to being to doing the trapeze the very next day without any training, without any prep, without working on it? Wouldn't you have to work on it for a period of time to be ready to do that and to be good at that and to not fall and kill yourself? Think of it in that way. So when I tell people don't overdo it, of course they don't listen, and they always do, and then they're emailing me like, I can't sleep, every time I close my eyes it's flashing white lights, I can't, I have constant visions, and you know what I mean, and they're tortured by it, and unfortunately there'll be nothing I can do for them. No, because that means they've damaged their chakras. They've pushed them too far. And now they just have to wait until the chakras heal themselves. Wait until it all tones down. And there is no saying how long that's going to take. Whether it's going to take a week, 2 weeks, months, a year. Do you really want to kind of sabotage your journey even before you started? Of course not. So that's why I say don't overdo it. You may be listening to me and saying, oh, okay, so she's saying meditate once a day and do maybe 10 to 15 minutes of chakra work, root to crown, and start there. Yes, but don't overdo it. Now, the other thing that you could be doing also when you start is the Violet Flame Decree. Because the Violet Flame Decree helps, it's very clearing. All you do is you visualize yourself surrounded by violet light or violet fire, and then you start chanting the Violet Flame Decree. Now, I use the short one, which is, I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. That's the one that I always say. Start using that and just chanting it repeatedly, either out loud when you can, or quietly in your head when you're out places and you can't say it out loud. Don't go through the grocery store just chanting the Violet Flame Decree out loud. They're going to think you're nuts. Just say it quietly in your head, when you're out in public. Or if you're in the car driving somewhere, you can start turning your radio off. Start driving in silence so that you will have that time and space to do things like prayers, decrees, mantras. So that is how you're going to fill the rest of the space of the day where you're not meditating and doing chakra work. So that is a good starting point. now I'm going to do other videos. And instead of continuing on this one and saying, okay, and now here's what you do to bring out this ability and this ability. No, I'm going to do, because I want to try to keep it kind of short enough for you guys. I don't want to do 2 hour long videos. So we're going to take this step by step so that you can just follow along with the videos, so that you can be like, okay, where should I be now? What should I be working on? Okay, so you could call this video maybe the day 1 through 5 video, where day 1 through 5, what I've just told you to do, that's what you can do day 1 through 5. And then the next video I'm going to get into, because after 5 days, you should be ready to kind of go to the next level of this, where we start purposely going ahead and working on our abilities as a way to bring them out and up to the surface. And so along with that will be what should you be doing every day. So if you want to follow along, it'll be one way that you can follow along without having to figure it all out on your own, or without having to second guess yourself like some people do. Like, am I doing enough? Am I doing everything I should be doing? So thank you for listening. And just remember, try not to focus too much on the experiences you're going to have. For example, what I mean is, let's say that you're chanting the Violet Flame Decree and something happens. You're like, oh wow, this started happening. The slat on my vertical blind started wildly swinging, and I know there was no air coming into the room. Okay, don't get too caught up in the experience. Yes, that's happening. And yes, it's probably either your guides doing it or the angels and ascended masters. Sometimes it's a validation and an acknowledgement. It's their way of saying, hey, we see you. We see that you're working on this. We're here for you. We're here to support you. We're here. We're here to help you. Sometimes it's just their way of letting that be known. It's validation, but be very careful. Don't get sidetracked by getting so excited about the experiences you're having. You have to be able to stay focused. Stay focused on what you're doing. So what I mean is, even if you're in the middle of saying the Violet Flame when this starts happening, don't stop saying the Violet Flame because you're like, oh wow, look at that. No. Focus. Keep focus on what you're doing. Keep focus on saying the Violet Flame. Try not to get distracted by the experiences. You're going to have plenty of them. And all of them, many of them are going to make you be like, wow, that's amazing. Wow. You know what I mean? And it's going to be amazing. But look, keep focused on what you're doing, because once you're done saying your Violet Flame decrees, doing your meditation and everything you're going to do for the day, and your chakra work, there will be plenty of time for you to write about the experience in your journal. And that's what I recommend. I recommend that you start a journal. Start writing about it. The process of writing sometimes helps you to realize things, helps you to see things that maybe you didn't notice, you didn't see. So it's a good idea to also start writing, in a journal every day. Especially like maybe you'll write in the journal after you've finished, doing your meditation and your chakra work and saying your decrees. Maybe you'll just write your thoughts about, what you noticed while you were doing all those things, or how you've noticed the change in how you've been feeling or how you've been perceiving things. So it is a good idea to start a journal at this point, and it will help you. Believe me, it will help. and just don't worry. Don't spend a lot of time worrying about, am I getting there? Is everything working? Really, honestly, you can't be in a hurry. And if you email me and tell me, but I am, because I just had a loved one that died, so I want to do this quickly, you are contacting the wrong person with that. Because just because you want it fast, the universe isn't always going to acquiesce to what you want. You know what I mean? Sometimes it has to be the way it is. So if you're one of those people that is like, I am so used to instant gratification now, and I want this fast, I want it like yesterday, no, I can't help you with that. Don't even email me and ask me that question. I can't help you with that. And I wouldn't, because I know that is what can lead to you overdoing it and you hurting yourself. Are you getting to a point that you're not ready for too fast? And we don't want to do that. We don't want to ruin the journey because we can't be patient. So I hope this video helped you. Feel free to comment. Of course, try to keep it positive. If you're a person that just for some reason happened to end up here and you're listening to this, if you don't agree with anything I'm saying, or you don't agree with metaphysics, that's fine. That's fine. There's tons of other videos and people doing videos to watch and to follow. So I don't really expect to see any negative comments about that, because all I'm going to say to you is, if this isn't something that's for you, what are you doing listening to my video? So if it's not for you, you don't agree with it, just move on. It won't hurt my feelings. Okay, well, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope wherever you are, the weather's okay. And I hope you're enjoying life. Until next time, namaste.